Hi, how are you doing? My name is Rohit and I'll be breaking down the 12th match of this year's IPL, which saw the Gujarat Titans taking on the Sunrisers Hyderabad in the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. And as usual, I'll start by saying what the end result was, which was the Gujarat Titans winning by 7 wickets. And here's the thing, from start to finish, this was Gujarat's game. This was very straightforward. The Sunrisers Hyderabad didn't really get any sort of footing in their batting innings when they set a total, and that's kind of to be expected when if you consider the law of averages, because in their previous game they scored 277 batting first, and then today they limped towards a pretty low score of 162 at an Ahmedabad pitch that usually sees scores upwards of 175, 180. So that's well below par already. And they add on to the fact that only 3 of their batters had a strike rate of above 140, those being Abhishek Sharma, Heinrich Klaassen, and Abdul Samad. So already you're looking at a pretty deep hole. You keep losing wickets at pretty consistent intervals. You don't really have too many batters who actually got a good footing in the innings, and nobody actually made a big total individually. The highest scorer was Abhishek Sharma, who made 29 from 20. So all things considered, you're already off to a pretty poor start. Add on to the fact that in the bowling, the Sunrisers Hyderabad just couldn't get any wickets. The Gujarat Titans stitched a good opening partnership with Uddhaman Saha and Shubman Gill, and then after Saha gets out first, Sai Sudarshan comes in and steadies the ship like he has throughout the entire season for Gujarat. He's been their most consistent batter throughout this entire IPL. And with this being Gujarat's 3rd match, I think that's a fair thing to say that Sai Sudarshan is their most consistent batter so far. And so it doesn't matter the situation. He plays according to it. He played according to the situation today and just kept a level head and didn't really play any unnecessary shots. It was a very clinical chase throughout. And then after Gill gets out, David Miller comes in, and then Sudarshan and Miller basically took the Titans home. Yes, the Sunrisers Hyderabad did get a 3rd wicket at the very end, but by the time they did get that 3rd wicket, the required score was basically just run a ball. So at that point, it doesn't really matter. And so a lot of it comes down to the Sunrisers Hyderabad had no sort of plan with their bowling. They just thought, okay, maybe if we can kind of restrict them in the power play, we can get to something, but that didn't work either. And that also gets kind of weird considering they brought in Washington Sundar as their impact sub in place of Mayank Agarwal, who failed in the opening inning when opening the batting for their innings. Sundar comes in at the very last over, gets out for a golden duck, so he contributes nothing with the bat. And Sundar is also someone who is a power play bowler. He is at his best in the power play, which is kind of rare for a spinner. And to my knowledge, and for some reason, this Sunrisers Hyderabad team does not like to use Sundar in the power play where he's best. Yes, I get it. Ahmedabad isn't necessarily too much of a spinner-friendly pitch, but that doesn't necessarily matter. If you have someone whose skill set is more focused and more sort of better in general for that power play stretch, why not use him? And what also doesn't make sense is that Sundar in general, domestically for Tamil Nadu, plays higher up the order. He plays around anywhere from opening to number 4. So why bring him in at number 9? That doesn't make any sense to me. If you have someone whose skill set is more appropriate for batting up the order, why not bring him up the order? I get that you don't really want to mess with what's working, and that top 4 for the Sunrisers Hyderabad has been pretty good for these first few matches of Travis Head, who came in after the first match, and then Mayank Agarwal, Abhishek Sharma, and then Aiden Markram. I get that you don't want to mess with that. But at least think about where your players are at their finest, and that ultimately is what did the Sunrisers Hyderabad in. They didn't know how to use their bowlers in an effective manner. They didn't put up a high enough total, and ultimately there was no struggle for the Gujarat Titans. They coasted. They absolutely coasted, and if anyone wants to learn how to manage a chase, just watch this match, and that's basically what it was. That was just a chasing clinic. From start to finish, no hiccups, no panics. Gujarat was just calm, collected, and they just got it done. Simple as that. So yeah, not really much happened. Nothing really big. So with that respect, just that's pretty much it. Mohit Sharma was named player of the match at the end because of his 3-wicket haul at a very economical rate too. He only gave up 25 runs, which in T20 is massive. So that's pretty much just the gist of it. There wasn't too much to really think about or break down here. If you're a Sunrisers Hyderabad fan, you really want to look at what your team is doing with the players that they have. Are they using them to the best of their abilities right now? I don't know. And that's the real question here. I'm not sure if there's truly a positive to take away from this game if you're a Sunrisers Hyderabad fan. And if you're a Gujarat Titans fan, your middle order is set. Sai Sudarshan and David Miller know how to play according to the situation, and that takes a lot of actual playing skill, and it translates. So that is going to be huge for them going forward, to have that sort of middle order that can stabilize an innings. But yeah, that was basically that match. And with that said, as usual, please like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, I'll see you for the next match. Thank you. Have a good one.